if I do say so
With
myself.
the snap of the bass.
All right.
Snap of the bass.
Well, here we are. You guys have your sake. And welcome to the JSB Anime Cast. I didn't say Games Cast this week. Here we are. Lovely Sunday. It's not JSB. It's not Nakama. Market Day, as if we sponsored the Market Day.
I was going to say, it's not Nakama. That's not where we are.
We are at Nakama. It is not Market Day. We don't own Market Day. I found a new way to screw it up. But here we are. They're enjoying some sake. What's
Oh my
the
gosh,
sake
I didn't even
today?
ask you if you wanted some. Because we usually do the 3.
I figured you just didn't want to give me any.
No, I was like, wait, keto, let's not do the sake because I think this is a really high sugar one.
Oh, okay. Then
So
I'll
I
pass
was
on
like,
this one.
okay. And they didn't have the soda, so I was even more
Well,
sad.
tell me about the sake, though.
Yeah, what do we have here?
Because it looks like water.
It does.
It does.
This one is actually their house right now, but that's probably why it's pretty high sugar.
Ah.
I can smell it.
Yeah, it smells sweet
Yes, yes,
Smells
yes.
So they don't have a name for it. It's just Nakama House.
right now. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
maybe it's probably a blend of some stuff too.
I can't wait till they name it the JSB or Jack's Sake Base.
JSB goes with everything, baby.
Light bulb.
They name it after this because we're promoting it. Obviously, come to Nakama, drink some of this house
Oh
sake.
yeah, that is sweet.
Very sweet.
Want
Is
a
it
little
good?
Very sweet.
Sipuru.
I'll take a little sip.
Sipuru.
Mm.
Sipuru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very sweet.
Okay.
Is it good? Is it one of your favorites?
No.
No, it's not one of your favorites.
No.
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. I like it. I probably couldn't drink
I'm not mad
a
at
ton
it.
of it.
Yeah.
I think I would have to like limit myself because it is super sweet.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I would have a hangover like real bad the next
It's that
day.
fireball.
Oh my god.
Our
Having
It's up
wartime
there.
flashbacks.
bodies can no longer handle that. Okay. Well, what a great way to begin our Sunday. What have you guys been up to? How have you guys been? It's we actually hit like 2 weeks
Yeah.
We
since
did.
the last podcast.
We did.
Paul couldn't believe it when I told him that we're filming today. He was like, I thought you guys were doing like every 2 weeks. I'm like, it is every 2 weeks, honey.
It
Yeah.
really crept up.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
I blinked and it's here and I'm like, oh, I still have 20 episodes to go and all right.
Oh my god! Oh no! So you blazed through
Oh, I
it.
blazed through it
It's
like
not
this past
hard.
week. It's not
Not
like
hard.
No.
I appreciate that it's a very easy watch. You
Super
know what
easy
I mean? Like I
watch.
can throw it on and just like don't have to focus so hard on it.
Yeah, I feel like I
Um,
needed that after
Tatami?
Tatami.
It was a great break.
But Tatami's wacky fun. But you kind of have to pay attention to it.
You have to focus on it,
You do have to
Yeah.
focus.
right?
Yeah, and I already spend a lot of like time focusing on things,
Yeah.
so it's just like even more focusing. Read every word, miss nothing.
She wasn't ready.
I was not.
man.
But yeah,
I watched the first episode and had to take a break for like weeks.
Well, good thing it's only 11 episodes. Not for weeks.
When I tell you I procrastinated and binged, boy did we procrastinate
Oh,
and binge.
man.
It was like 2 a.m. the day before we filmed.
Holy. Well, we made it work, and it resulted. You really were in cram school.
Oh,
It resulted in one of the longest
Passed.
podcast
Mother.
episodes. We had a lot to talk about.
Mother
All of it was
girls.
fresh in your brain.
It was so fresh. You have no idea.
But yeah, it is a nice, easy
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
A fun little, a good palate cleanser for Tatami. I agree.
Mhm.
My next one won't
Absolutely.
be a power cleanser, just so you guys know. But yeah,
Oh.
I had to give you guys a little bit of a break.
Oh hell yeah! I'm
Interesting.
ready to hop back into being stressed.
Interesting. I wonder what that means. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, how like other than you having to cram for Ouran,
Yeah,
how have you been? How was your 2 weeks?
been great. We went to go see the Spy X Family movie,
We did.
Code White, which was pretty cool. It is an original story,
Yes.
so you don't need to know anything about Spy Family to go into it.
Oh,
Like
good.
they set you up at the very beginning.
That's nice.
It's just like we run through the characters real quick. Here's Anya. She reads people's minds. Here's who Yor is. Here's who Lloyd is.
Yeah.
Here's Bond.
Oh, good. Bond's already there. Good.
Yeah,
we don't have to
Bond-
get the
yeah,
his whole arc.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Bond.
Shout outs to Bond.
Oh.
It's a good time. It feels like just an extended episode. Honestly, they don't do anything like,
for better and worse.
For better and for worse, right?
Yeah.
like they probably could have cut maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
There are points where I'm just like, oh, we're a little slow here. Like can we go?
That kind of is the Spy Family vibe, though.
It is.
There's a lot of filler episodes.
Yeah.
To the point where you're like, okay, so what's the end story?
Yeah.
Right. Like we want to get to the end game here.
Yeah. You lose sight of it because of how many fillers there can be, but they're
Right.
all very wholesome. So
Yes.
you
Yeah, they're wholesome and
enjoy
they're fun.
Right.
You enjoy them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's how it feels for this movie.
Mhm.
So it was a good time. Anya was there's some really funny Anya bits. Shout outs to the poop god.
What?
It was a trip. I had no idea what I was getting into watching this movie, and that bit was something special. Which is funny because I do not think that is the first time they've done a "I need to hold to use the bathroom" story in Spy Family, right? Didn't that happen to Lloyd at one point?
Oh, well, it wasn't actually.
He
pretended that he had to
he
go to the
pretended
bathroom.
like he was using the bathroom for a long time.
Right.
That's right. And I
Yeah.
was like, dang, he takes massive shit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
No, this is Anya going through life and death right now.
So is Anya like the main character in the movie?
I feel like they balance between everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's actually probably the main reason I don't really love watching Spy Family.
Mhm.
She aggravates me a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I love Lloyd and Yor. I love Yor.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, is it heavy on Anya? Because I might just get deterred.
It's pretty heavy on Anya.
Okay.
I would say,
Mhm.
but they split even.
Right, like the show.
I think it's even.
Yeah,
like the
I
show.
think it's a pretty even split, right? Like for a good bit, it's a lot of Yor and Lloyd,
Yeah.
like what they're going through, like, and then they sprinkle some Anya in there.
Yeah.
Anya has a big segment towards like the middle, right, with the
Exactly.
whole poop god scenario, and then we get back to Lloyd and Yor. It's
It's
Yeah.
fun.
it's a fun time. It's a fun time. I would recommend. I would recommend.
Yeah. I would say if you like Spy Family, it's more Spy Family.
Yeah.
How
So-
many people do you guys have with you?
5 total.
Five
5
total.
of us.
I brought my nephew with us.
Mm.
So he's 10. He's never watched Spy Family. He knows of
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
And he left the theater. He had a great time.
Oh, good,
he
good.
really, really enjoyed it. So he's probably going to end up binging it.
Is he into anime, like in general?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay, cool.
Yes.
Good,
He's become an anime nerd.
Yeah.
Good.
Um,
Teach me up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get him young.
One of us.
One of us.
He got the Dragon Ball shirt. He was asking, like, who's your favorite Bleach character? Who's your
Aw.
favorite Dragon Ball character?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Oh,
JJK.
JJK. It was JJK.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's big on JJK right now.
And I was like, who did I say?
Mahito.
I said Mahito. Yeah, that guy rules.
I became friends with one of my drill sergeants,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to her birthday dinner one year, and her son was there, and he was super into anime, and she mentioned it once to him. And after that, that's all we spent the rest of the dinner talking
Yeah.
about.
Mhm.
So it's like, it was really good. He was young too at the time, so it was like really cool to see him like get into really good ones too early
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
Like not just the like mild, more, playful ones, but
Right.
really serious in nature and very good for conversation.
Right.
And I think it showed in his emotional maturity. It was
Mhm.
kind of cool. So like to hear
Uh-huh.
more younger people getting into not necessarily only the fun ones. Like I think Jujutsu Kaisen is probably one of the good ones to get into like heavier topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like super young, like 8 years old or anything like that. But like especially as you start creeping into those teen years
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people maybe can't tell the difference between whether you're 13 or 16.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, that's not a bad phase to like they're gonna get started treatment like an adult. So
Yeah.
go ahead and introduce them to some mature. Where do they stand on these topics? What do
Right.
they understand,
Mhm.
and what's their opinion of it as of now?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, and what I appreciate about my nephew is like he's very open to like watching pretty much anything,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, and he wants to watch more. He's actively like, "Hey, let's watch more anime."
It's hard
like,
to stop
like-
once you start getting
Yeah,
the anime out.
yeah. Like he's sampled so many different things. Like,
Because there's so many good ones.
Yeah, I'll just
Mhm.
randomly ask him a question like, "Have you seen?" Or I really won't even like prompt the anime. He'll mention a character, and I'm just like, "What do you know?" That was how we got on Bleach, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because he was just like we was in the car, and he's just like, "I'm thinking about characters that have different transformations." I'm like, talk to me. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, like Naruto, like Ichigo. And I was like, what do you know about Bleach?
Yeah, what do you know about
And then
Bleach?
he was like, what do you mean? What do I know about Bleach?
Yeah.
And I was like, who's your favorite character in Bleach? And he's like, we have Ichigo, we have Renji, we have Rukia. It's so like, he was going through it. And I'm just like,
there's a lot.
boy, what do you know about this?
I say again.
What do you know? Right? It'll just be random things, and then we just go into a whole thing about it. Like, he got into JoJo's like 2 years ago, just randomly out of nowhere. I didn't prompt it. Like, I went over one day, and he hit me with a yada yada to say, and I'm just like, what do you know about JoJo's? And he's like, what do you mean? What do I know about JoJo's?
Yeah, what do you mean?
There's Star Platinum, there's pulling her up, and I'm just like, boy.
This is wild.
This is insane. What do you know about like the 7-page Muda? Like, what are we talking about here? He's a riot. He's a great time.
Dang.
Took him to KBBQ for the first time.
Took him to KBBQ. He learned how to use chopsticks for the first time, which that was funny watching his brain work.
Yeah.
Right?
Process.
Like, he was definitely like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Which one do you take him to?
Vagabond.
Vagabond?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to
choice.
Vagabond.
One of 2 all-you-can-eats in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Did he try kimchi?
He tried kimchi.
Okay,
he
no,
tried a little bit of
before.
one of everything. He liked everything.
Oh, okay.
So he liked the kimchi.
He even tried calamari.
He tried calamari for the first time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I like it. I could see his brain working, and he was processing. He was like, do I like this? Okay. And then it was like, I'll have another. And I was like, all right, we got him.
Yeah, I was asking him because I'm typically, when we go to KBBQ, I'm usually the cook. Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, asking him, I was like, don't force yourself to eat it if you don't like it. I don't want any pressure on, this 10-year-old kid to feel like he's got to be cool, in front of the adults.
Has to be cool.
But he was a great cheerleader. When we got to the point of just me and Rob, and we were like, I think we could do more. And then we did more. It was a terrible idea.
Meets strongest warrior.
Yeah. And your nephew was like, never give up. I was like,
Never surrender.
bruh,
Help us.
you got a lot to learn, kid. Easy for you to say. As I got this like mountain of meat on my leg.
Oh, Lord.
But I always love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was a fun time. I'm going to take him today to get ramen for the first time.
Have you decided yet? Where?
Not yet. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Do you have a favorite ramen
maybe
place?
Modu.
I do.
In Jack's?
What's your
I
favorite?
do. Modu.
Oh, it's Modu. Okay.
Yeah.
That is one of my options. Modu is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like their recipe for their broths a lot more than other ones in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I'd say gives them a run for their money is Karai, but it's all the way at Beaches.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, so I have them flip-flopped. So, like, Karai is my favorite, but it's also over at Beaches.
That's
so, like, to
probably
drive...
why it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's because the first and only time I've had it, I was like, oh, this is really good. But it's all the way over here. So
Yeah,
I'm probably never going to eat here again. But I can go to...
here.
I do.
Yeah.
But I can go to Modu pretty much anytime.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Modu is fantastic.
They are.
Yes.
They're really
Yes.
I'm curious.
good. Their wings are really good. I did not get any wings at Karai.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that their appetizers are really good at Modu as well.
Yeah, I think Modu has better wings.
Cool. Okay, so it is my favorite.
And I do think their broth is... I think I agree that their broth is better. But with Karai, I think the overall package is better.
Yes.
So how I always separate it is like Modu has like the best sort of traditional ramen.
Yeah.
Right? But Karai has a lot of cool specialty ones.
Yeah,
Like
they do.
they just come up with different stuff. Like their Gaijin bowl is like one of my favorites out of anything. Right? No one else is going to give me a giant hamburger patty in this ramen bowl. You know? Like whatever other sauce and whatever they have in there is like, it's really creative. It's awesome. Right? But if I just want like a tonkatsu or I want like a shoyu, like I'm going
You
to
won't
Modu.
go wrong. Yeah.
Right?
Their setup to the aesthetic is, and it's comfortable.
It's
like the nice tall booth.
Yes.
Very nice, very pretty, very relaxing. That's why I don't like Domu, because it's a little too chaotic sometimes.
Definitely has like a...
City.
Yeah, like a city vibe.
Yeah,
I
city
think
vibe.
they're mid anyway, so...
When are we doing the JSB ramen in Jack's episode?
Actually, we can do that. We could also. So one thing I wanted to talk about is our D&D game.
Yeah.
And if we do that, we could definitely do like have ramen while we D&D.
Oh.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah, we can talk more about that later on. But yeah,
Okay,
since you brought it up, I was like, that's actually a perfect opportunity. I'd also love to cook it for you guys if you didn't want to like order out from other places.
That would
Because
be
I
great.
make ramen on a regular basis.
Really?
Yeah, like
Oh,
from
hell
like
yeah.
bone broth and like all that stuff.
Oh, I would love to try
I
that.
don't do it on the regular because my signature ramen takes a lot, but
It's very
God,
good.
it's rewarding doing it like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like it. All right. Anything else, Rob?
No.
Anything else anime related?
Not really. Like I've been kind of watching the Licorice Recoil stage play again,
Yeah.
which is always a fun time.
What did you say?
Licorice Recoil stage play.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know what a stage play is?
Maybe.
So Licorice Recoil is an anime that came out about 2 years ago now.
I want to say it's 2 years.
2 years ago, it was
Yeah.
an anime original.
Yeah.
I might force you guys to watch it one day.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. That's basically about like this secret group of girls that are like protecting Japan. And there's a very
Gun girl genre.
gun girl genre,
Yeah.
right? But there's a very sweet story within that.
Yeah.
And they adapted it into a stage show. So
Yeah.
just like an actual play, right? I'm a big sucker for anime stage plays. So like I've watched like a lot of like the Naruto stage plays. I watched like the Haikyuu stage plays.
I heard the Haikyuu one.
Haikyuu is dope.
Okay, so I don't know what a stage play is.
It's like
It's just
It's
like
a
it's just
theater
like
show?
a theater show.
A theater show.
Like just a theater performance of the anime.
Is it like those clips that I see when they have Sailor Moon like do her transformation on a stage and
Yes.
like, her
Yeah.
costume?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah,
turn an anime into a theater production.
into a theater
Yeah.
production. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Which the Sailor Moon ones are really good. They actually had a U.S. tour a couple of years ago
Okay.
that I went to.
Oh yeah,
I flew
remember
to
hearing about
DC to go see that, and that was very fun. And then I have the Blu-ray for the Licorice Recoil one, which is just a very good time.
Yeah, I still gotta watch
Cool.
that.
The actress for Chisato just hams it up so hard,
Yeah,
and it just makes me laugh. So
I've never seen one before. I'd be interested in checking one out.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, looks like we'll have to watch
we
one
should
soon.
do one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll try to find one that has some subtitles and we can watch it.
Okay.
The problem with getting into stage plays is like a lot of them don't have like subtitles, right? But they're always like one for the anime. So as long as you like have seen it before,
Yeah.
You know what's
you can
going
follow
on.
along,
Yeah.
right? But I'll try.
That's a fun experience.
It is.
Wow. Like
It's-
even without subtitles, that's an experience of like familiarity.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
it's
cool.
really really fun. So
Huh.
I'll dig one up.
I'd be very interested in watching one.
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm. What about you, Jenny?
In between lots of work and stuff, I've like set time aside to go to events and stuff. I've
Yeah.
been a lot more. I'm a very social person as it is, but like kind of catering my socialness to things I want to do.
Yeah,
So this summer, this rest of the year, kind of doing a lot of con stuff.
Yeah,
It's like I
very
have
exciting.
one big one each quarter, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So part of like what's keeping me busy is like all the workouts that I've been doing. So we're getting cosplay ready for a couple of cons. AFO is a pool.
when is AFO again?
Last weekend of June.
Last weekend of June.
Yep, last week of June, Orlando, AFO. It's Anime Festival Orlando is what that stands for. And it's going to be like a pool party of anime. So we want to be cosplay ready.
Yep.
So we're going to be cleaning up our diets and stuff come May and doing a lot of like meal preps. And won't be able to go out as much. But I have been like attending like Nakama events and stuff. So I went to your movie showing of Red Line, which
Yep.
was a great time.
Mhm.
And did the One Piece cosplay event that they had on the 19th on Friday.
Mhm.
My husband got first place.
Yeah, he was Crocodile.
He was Crocodile. I think what really sold his costume, though, was that he had the hook,
Yeah,
Crocodile.
that the great hook.
but it holds beer.
I saw a photo
So
with
it was-
the beer in the hook, and I was like, "Oh, this is brilliant."
It was a complete accident.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we just ordered that. We just happened. We never order beer when we're here at Nakama.
Yeah.
And we.
It's a sake place.
Yeah, and we ordered Sapporo because he wanted to coast. Like we'd been took a couple shots and we were like, let's coast for a bit.
Yeah.
So we both ordered one, and then he just put in his hook, and he's like, This actually works pretty well.
That's incredible.
So I think that's a lot of what won his costume. But he also did a great job. He styled the wig himself. He made the cloak.
He has a cigar, big old chunky cigar.
Yeah, he has like a little battery operated cigar, so he can bring it to cons and stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
and he's been practicing the
laugh. Is
the
it
laugh.
It's such a good laugh. Did he ever say Mugiwara?
No, he didn't.
Bummer.
He said he did the thing that says "long time no see."
Yeah.
Bushido was I don't remember the phrase anymore. He says it over and over, and I can't remember.
I love that. That's so fun.
Bushido or something like that.
Is this why you're wearing the chopper hat?
Yeah, and then also this is usually what I wear for my chopper piece. Like I have this favorite jacket that I wear all the time, so it's like an excuse to wear it to a party. It's great.
Yeah.
Also, I'm having a bad hair day. I should admit it.
Just accept it.
I can't tell a lie. I'm having a bad hair day. But I actually dressed up as what I called Femme Zorro.
Okay.
And I got second place.
Awesome.
And so they had us line up. There was the stage where they do karaoke out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they had everyone lined up on the side where that front lobby is, that all the merchandise. And that's where everyone was coming out of to like get on stage and do their little, ditties and stuff.
Yeah.
I came in from the opposite side. So when they called my name, I went right after Paul. They called my name and they're like, Femme Zorro, also known as Jenny. Everyone's looking in that direction.
Yeah.
And I don't come out for a little bit, like just waited like 1.
So wait, was this on purpose?
Yeah.
To go come from the wrong direction.
So I came in from the other side. I came out, pulled out my sword. I was like, "Where am I?"
I see. I was like, the cogs were turning in my head. I was like, oh wait, this makes sense.
It's
That's a really great way to enter as Zorro.
Yep.
That's really funny.
And then I went out the other way and all that. But it was so fun.
What were some of the other cosplays that were like your favorites?
I always love anyone who does a Captain Koro.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite villains. It was like cool to see a bad guy with glasses.
Yeah.
Because I had glasses at the time when I watched One Piece. I was in middle school, had the braces, the glasses. I was super like, nobody likes the way I look. And then here's a guy who's like a complete badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his signature is his glasses. And it's like, ooh, dangerous. And then when he like does that thing with the glasses that he was gifted, it was like, ooh, you bad.
I love that.
So he hypes me a lot. Every time I see him, it's like great memories.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few Luffys, of course.
Of course.
A few Namis. One female dressed up as Princess Vivi.
Oh yeah, Princess Vivi.
And she definitely took a picture with Paul.
Yeah. Of course.
And they did a little heart thing, and they're like, I guess there's peace on Alabaster.
Very good.
Who else was a really good one? Oh gosh, there was the guy whose name I can never remember. He's the one who was like, his face is painted like as if he's part of the Ozzy Osbourne group, or Kiss, either one.
Oh.
The skeleton-looking dude. Brooke. Yes.
Good old Brooke.
Yep. There was a guy who's dressed as him. Did a great job with his.
Yeah.
And also, actually, a JSB Gamecast guy was there. He was dressed as Luigi when we did our Comic-Con panel.
Jay.
Yes.
Yes.
Jay was there.
Yes.
He
Paul
shows up
recognized.
as a Marine usually. Yeah. When he does One Piece.
Yeah, Paul recognized his cosplay. I didn't. He was like, "Oh, the Luigi guy was there." I was like, "What?" He's like, the Luigi guy at Comic-Con. I was like, "Oh, the one sitting in the second row when we did our panel."
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. He's usually just a Marine foot soldier.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
Very funny. And he'll have like the water gun sometimes.
He had a water gun.
Yeah.
He had a water gun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's what. So his was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun cosplays. The girl that we went for was her name is Destiny. She loves cosplay TikTok and stuff. So she does. I think it's Destiny Deer 22. And it was her birthday party, like tandem with Nakama. She brought like cupcakes and brought lots of decor that was one One Piece themed, like her balloons. They had little pirate flags everyone was like holding. I was sticking in my empty beer cans and leaving them everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that was cans plural. And there was another kid actually celebrating his birthday. His mom actually was like, she tracked him down here. It was kind of funny because she bought me a shot, which is why we had this conversation.
Oh, hell yeah.
But she turned around. She's like, would you like a shot? Because my son, he's done. He said he's tired. He's done. But it's his birthday. I want another one. My boyfriend wants another one. So do you want to have a shot with me? And I was like, sure. And she was like, yeah, I had to track him down here because I said, how do you want to celebrate your birthday? He's like, I'm just actually just going to go to this One Piece event that's happening at the Nakama bar. And she's like, well, I guess I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
And so she'd never seen One Piece, but she was like, these costumes are great.
I love that.
What an energy. Huh.
Yeah. And she loved the sake. She was like talking to the bartender by her first name and was just like, oh yeah, let me get Nikita over here. And I'm like, Nikita, can we get the round of the, I think it's called the Dragon Ball shot or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Or just Dragon or Red Dragon or something like that. And that's what we drank, and it was very good. So yeah. It's very fun.
There was a lot of birthdays last week. If there was those two, and then we had a birthday at Redline also.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, that's right. The guy who won the
guy who won the copy of Redline.
Which, by the way, you can't ask anybody to draw anymore because Mark and I failed you. We kept drawing people that weren't there anymore.
Yeah. And but it was just really funny because he was wearing a shirt that literally said, "It's my birthday."
A lot of birthdays. I celebrated my birthday in between our
Oh my God, man. You celebrated your birthday. There's a lot of birthdays.
A lot of birthdays.
Paul has his birthday.
Paul's next week. Paul's like the secret ghost JSB member. We always talk about him. He's always nearby.
He's real, I promise.
He's real.
He's with us in spirit.
Yes.
All right.
And always.
Did you like Redline?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Redline.
No, we didn't.
My guy.
No, we did not.
Thank you for introducing me to Redline. I have never watched JoJo. And I had never seen anything with that kind of energy before. There was nothing that I could compare it to that I was like, oh, okay, I get these kinds of stories. I'm coming in fresh.
Oh.
And so it starts, and it is exaggerated, way over the top, the Paul Bunyan of anime.
Not the Paul Bunyan of, oh my God.
The Johnny Appleseed, the Paul Bunyan of anime.
I'm taking so many critical damages.
Psychic damage.
Psychic damage all day.
That's a dice roll, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a ridiculous start to let you know what you're getting into.
It is. It lets you know this is what you're signing up for. Mm-hmm. Welcome. But boy, does it welcome you. Because it had a great aesthetic. I felt the closest that I could possibly compare it to that I did know was Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of that.
A little bit.
The space western type of energy.
Western, yeah. Definitely the lonely cowboy energy, right? But from the hood, which is great.
Yeah.
Very funny.
He's on his speed.
Yeah.
Which is a real car. The what was his car? Why am I blanking on his car?
Trans Am?
Yeah, the Trans Am. Yeah, it's a Trans Am. An actual real car.
Yeah, the other ones were not.
Yeah, my man's was racing on a car with the wheels. Everybody else was going berserk with these wacky things that fly and go in the water and had like guns on. And that was another thing with him.
He refused.
No weapons.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that.
Yep.
People are like, you're behind at times. You're old fashioned.
Yeah.
And
he's the youngest one there.
It's interesting with him, especially like his kind of like James Dean energy, like.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much thought put into the character designs, their personalities, what gets fleshed out, how it gets told it was show don't tell, a lot of show don't tell. So you had to infer a lot of the story in the background. They didn't just feed it to you so in last episode, in case you didn't know, he is a good guy. Like it was very much like organically fed. And they fit that really well into a story that had a great enemy. One that didn't take a lot of work. They didn't waste a lot of time on developing the enemy.
No.
Very straightforward, so that they could actually spend a lot of time on all the surrounding characters.
Correct.
And that's such great storytelling. So I love that. Music couldn't stop.
Yeah, it's peak music.
Just every time they do heighten the music, me and Asher just Mark is over here like trying to like look past me behind me. It's like,
as you're like losing it. Yeah. An incredible soundtrack.
Very good. Yeah, and I felt emotional during the emotional points, related to a lot of the strifes too that each character was experiencing. Just all around an amazing time. I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for whatever's next for these movie nights.
It was definitely like a crowd pleaser. Like the people were pretty into it.
Oh, they were. Oh my God.
It was loud. We had the volume up. And so like just as those cars were booking, it was just like, oh my God.
Hell
like
yeah.
we're getting blown away.
Yeah, it raised the hair on the chest and everything. It was awesome.
And it was a little bit of a treat because like, you know, we touched on this a little bit before the cast started, but like it wasn't it was a critical success. It wasn't a financial success. Not a lot of people watched it. And the joke is that like it bankrupted Madhouse, which there's a lot of stuff that goes into bankrupting companies, people. It's not as easy as like this movie.
This one thing. That's all it took.
This one movie.
To break the whole system.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But it exists in a weird space. Like, it's because it's about 2010, I want to say.
Yeah.
And of course, we're watching anime, you know, around that time, and there are certainly like more than the early 2000s of people watching anime, but we haven't hit there's anime everywhere phase that we're kind of in now.
Right.
And so like, I can't help but feel like this movie, if it had come out today, would have had an audience. Like
it absolutely would have.
Like almost like a Promare.
Yeah.
You know, people love Promare.
When did JoJo come out?
The anime?
Yeah.
This most recent attempt at JoJo that like really popularized it was that like 2013.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so it's around that same era.
Yeah, somewhere around.
Like
there.
I said, it was just on that cusp. It came out right on that cusp of anime, just like it's just before Attack on Titan, right? Like, just really launched into the stratosphere, and I think it was just like not even like years too early, just very little. Yeah, it was very close, but happy that like people can enjoy it in a space like Nakama. You know, people
it was so fun. We're just a bunch of strangers that I felt like we all sat in somebody's living room and were just like, "You want to watch a movie? Yeah, I'm down."
That's a good vibe.
It was that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was a lot of fun.
Also, somebody commented that they were surprised that you were giving out a copy of Redline. Is it hard to get?
I don't think it's hard to get. It's just that nobody watches it. I mean, I got the copy for like $14. So it's on Amazon. I'm shilling it out to y'all. You can pick a copy of Peak Anime for $14.
Do you always give out a movie?
I try to.
Okay.
I try to.
Cool.
I won't say all the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, depends on our coffers, which you can support by buying into the JSB Patreon. It'll immediately go to that stuff. Perfect. Thank you. You planned that.
Hey.
But
I'm your business manager.
You know, I try to. I want to, because it's like, you know, the people who do like it, you know, they get to walk home with this thing, and then, you know, they get to show it to their friends.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
I think
It's
that's
great.
really cool.
Paul can't wait to watch it again with me after I've let it settle for a little bit and then rewatch it with him. He hasn't seen it in forever.
Yeah.
When I went home, we talked about it nonstop, and he was like, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is very hard to describe after you've taken a break and try to like do it again.
Yeah.
It'd be like, there's that villain, he does the thing, and the other one, he like says no mercy and does the
yeah, exactly.
But then it actually doesn't work completely.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Also, its name is Funky Boy, and
his name is Funky Boy, the big monster.
and it's like, it's also possibly a reference to post World War II Japan, and
because the
questioning
bombs that were dropped, one of them was named Big Boy.
Yeah,
it's Big Boy and Little Man.
Big Boy and Little Man.
Yeah, it's Big Boy and Little Man. So it's like, you know, a slight nod to that.
Definitely.
Yep.
Right.
I always love the honesty in their, what are they referencing? What are they pulling these ideas from?
But it's such a
history.
silly name, Funky Boy.
It is, but they do that, right? Because they do that because it gets over the macabreness of what they're working with, right? When you have something very serious, you give it a really goofy name, so that when you're referencing it, you feel less dark. You feel you can swallow it a little bit better.
That's true. That's true.
We're laughing, but it's like, imagine the ones who were creating it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're developing this great technology that's intended to do a lot of really, 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 really bad things. We're going to call it Funky Boy.
Yeah, we're going to call it Funky Boy.
You know, something very lighthearted like Princess Rainbows.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, man. But yeah, what a cool movie. Very glad you liked it.
Thank you for hosting that. It was really a great time.
Any other anime adjacent things? Anything else?
Nope, that's it for now. Obviously, I got to enjoy rewatching one of my favorites. It was actually in my top 5 that I listed when we first did our intro episode for JSB. So I was happy to find a good moment, I think a breathing point to have us watch it. To
pick it and have it discuss, because it's one thing for all of it, because this is one that we've all watched. Yeah. It's one thing for all of us to just watch it and be like, yeah, I like it, to actually like chop it up and like get into the nitty gritty about it. So that should be fun. Is there anything with me that hasn't been talked about already? Redline, Spy Family, insert Death Note. Okay, continue Death Note. Finally got to Misa. Misa.
Finally got to Misa. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
She doesn't show up until like the end of episode 11.
Really?
A lot later than I thought.
Yeah.
It is later than what most people think. They're like, man, it's the people that I'm watching with. It's like, when does she show up?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, when does she show up? Everybody talks about Misa. Like that's she's a big deal character. So you're well on your way already. Before she like finally shows up.
Interesting.
And she's great. She slay queen. I wish you didn't like Kira.
Like you could do better.
Yeah, you deserve better.
Yeah.
So like that's been really fun. And then let's see on my notes. Insert token mention of 100 Girlfriends. Okay, read a little bit more.
Did you even need a note for that?
He did.
Read a little bit more. 100 Girlfriends. News alert. It's still peak. Watch it / read it.
I want you to know that he came to my birthday party and he turned on 100 Girlfriends and forced people to watch the first 4 episodes of 100 Girlfriends while we're all getting wasted. Yeah, and I was like,
actually,
damn.
that's a good way to get wasted.
It was fun.
They loved it. They were hooting and hollering. They were like, "This is peak." Asher was right.
And then last night after KBQ, he forced one of our first episode of 100 Girlfriends.
It's just a personality trait now.
I have now seen the first episode of 100 Girlfriends like 8 times. Just being in a room with Asher.
I have to say that's me and your name. I have rewatched it like probably 8 more times because of introducing it to people.
Oh yeah,
I just look for an excuse. I look for an excuse to be like, hey, so you haven't seen your name? Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh.
The first year I had the Blu-ray, like, oh, that was me everywhere. Oh, you haven't seen it? Well, I have this copy right here.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. On my phone. Let me go ahead and download on your phone. And yours.
I'm not in the mood for that today. What if we watched Your Name? You haven't seen that yet, right? Like that type of thing. Like, no, I completely get it. Yeah, so all right, before we get into Ouran, I guess we'll take a little break, take this opportunity to talk about some Nakama stuff. So we'll be right back. It is recording.
Hey guys, wanted to just shout out a couple of events happening for Nakama this coming weekend. So tonight, April 27th, you have the Sailor Moon Rave. The Sailor Scouts of Jacksonville will attend, so it's going to be a banging time. And then tomorrow, April 28th, we have the all-you-can-eat ramen challenge. I'm going to be there as a contestant. We have one of our other friends, Phil, that might show up as well. Ashley's going to be around with the camera. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff for that event, so be sure to check it out. And support Nakama. They've been supporting us, so we want to support them. Thanks.
Putting the hat back on.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. I got a sugarless soda.
Stubborn soda.
And more sake, classic.
Yeah.
And we're ready to dig into Ouran. high school host club.
Yeah.
So, as to be expected, why Ouran High School Host Club? Aside from the fact that, if you guys have watched the first episode, it was one of her top 5 anime of all time, but like, you know, why put it into like a JSB anime podcast? Why have a discussion about it? Like, is there something about it other than I like it? Which it could be just I like it.
Yeah.
You know, what other reason to, you know, talk about things?
Yeah. So I definitely needed a refresher and palate cleanser after Atomic Galaxy, even though we had so much to say about it. And it was, you know, it ultimately turned into a great conversation. It made it tough for me to watch it. I was like, I'm sick of this.
You're like mentally exhausted.
I was mentally exhausted. So Ouran is a easy to watch show. It's got such great storytelling to it and characters in it that it's easy to just keep watching next episode. Can't wait for the next one. It's all done too, so that's another appeal. Short episodes.
Well, as done as it could be.
Yes,
Right
that's
now.
true. It's true. I don't think they ever plan on coming out with like the next part or anything.
They don't, but I've seen crazier things happen.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
we're in an age of remakes happening for old stuff, and randomly things are getting season 3.
Right?
So
We mentioned last time the Spice and Wolf thing.
Spice and Wolf came back. Hibini Todoke gets a randomly season 3
That's true.
after 10 years. So if they
Yeah,
announce
10 years?
if they announce an Ouran High School remake next year, I would not be surprised.
Huh. I would be all about that. But in addition to that, wanted to talk with you guys too, just about a harem that I do love. Since we started this, like our first episodes were like, yeah, I don't like rom-com, I don't like romance things. And this one has, I think, a lot of commentary about growing up, life, relationships, honesty too, and like how it feels to be a teenager. One of the favorite comments that I had was basically how Ouran was my reintroduction to anime. Like I stopped because I was like, this is embarrassing. I cannot be seen watching this anymore. This is for children.
This is cringe.
It's so cringe.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's absolutely still cringe.
But you're free now.
Yes, and it's still cringy, absolutely. Like, as we were talking about Redline, I was like, I absolutely not have my parents watch this. And why? It's like, well, I don't think they'd get, like, any of it.
Yeah.
It'd be weird. The animation would just be, they'd be probably like, this is disgusting. I don't want to watch this. This is ugly.
Yeah.
But one thing that we did have a good conversation, though, was about your nephew being young and watching anime.
Yeah.
Is that it causes you to gain an emotional maturity that usually wouldn't come until later because you're exposed to topics that are gentle enough that you can actually form your opinions without someone like criticizing you for it or whatever, without judgment. And that's really important, I think, in youth, that we don't actually tell them to do that early on. We often say, this is how you should feel about this. This is good, bad, right, wrong,
Right.
And then your social circles will tell you what's good and bad, and what's great piece of art and a shitty piece of art, right? And so Ouran asks a lot of those questions about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what's so cringe, and then what's like, kind of fun though.
What age did you first watch Ouran?
I was 27.
You were 27? What about you?
22, I want to say. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So later in life, y'all watched Ouran.
Yes.
Yeah, I was post-college. I was living by myself and was sitting in my living room and was like on Netflix, so that was where I watched it at that time. And I was like, man, I haven't watched anime since like middle school. So, this looks stupid, but I could use something brainless right now. And so I turned it on.
So you didn't get into Ouran with somebody telling you should get into Ouran. Interesting.
Yeah, I just straight up was like, this looks stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't feel par for the course. I feel like Ouran stands, be coming out strong, and then they're like, watch this, I promise you.
I've been out of the community
for
a long time, like almost 10 years.
Yeah,
I've been out of the community. And
but it's
so
fascinating that you stumbled upon it.
I stumbled upon it probably because it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I also offered a English dub.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, perusing through subtitles. Sony
Mhm.
Galaxy. And
we love reading.
we like reading around here.
Mhm.
And it was such a good time with the first episode. I was hooked immediately.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, oh man, I want to go to cons again.
It just hooked you from there.
It really did. Like, I hadn't touched any, no mangas, no anime, no cons.
That's wild.
I was playing sports and, going out to parties, going to bars, going dancing. I was definitely big in the dancing group at the time, community.
That was me in Attack on Titan around that time.
Yeah.
So I completely get it. I was also out of the community for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Living that FSU, football life. And,
Yeah.
And then just one day was like, oh, I hear this is good.
Yeah.
And it is good. Attack on Titan, no matter how I feel about it overall by the end. That first season, I'll never forget the hook of it getting me back into anime. So it's really cool that Ouran did that for you.
And it was a genre I never watched when I wasn't into anime. I never watched anything that had romance. It was only shonen
I
at the
see.
time. It was I watched Shaman King, Yu Yu Hakusho,
Shouts to Shaman
Dragon
King.
Ball Z. Sailor Moon's not a shonen, but I watched that when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Right.
But it was definitely nothing along the lines of Ouran. It was a slice of life.
Yep.
Or a harem. I'd never read or watched anything that was a harem. So I was completely thrown into a world I knew nothing about. But I was I'd kind of seen the little tropes, referenced here and there. So that was it was very tongue in cheek. I enjoyed that, and pretty much after that, I just kind of spiraled back into watching a lot of anime, rewatching some that I'd forgotten, fell back in love with. But Ouran was really the catalyst that kicked all that off.
I love that. What about you? Was it recommended by a friend or
So Ouran was something that I always knew of, right?
Yeah.
There have been people around me that was big into the manga when it came out, right?
Yeah.
And they would just always get into it. My friend's little sister was big into Ouran. And,
Yeah.
anytime I would go over to the house, it was I would hear stories about Ouran. So I was nearby it, but I never stopped to watch it or read it or whatever, right? So eventually, that same friend, I moved in with him and his wife. Those were my housemates for a while.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry, but not sorry. My anime tendencies rubbed off on his wife.
Yeah.
And she started getting really addicted to shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she went in on the Ouran manga and then came up to me one day and was like, I think you would really like Ouran. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's we should watch Ouran. So just one afternoon, she turns on Ouran and just I was just hooked on it. I was like, oh, this is great. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is a great time.
Yeah.
And I always think back on it as just a really fun comedy. It didn't really, because I know a lot of people are really touched by Ouran, right? But a lot of that stuff kind of went over me the first time I watched it, right? I wasn't thinking about it. I was just here for fun gags.
Yeah. Well, it's got those.
Yeah, it's got all of those. And I was like, oh, this is just a really fun comedy to me. And then later, I hear people's experiences with Ouran, and then I think back and I'm like, oh, that was a really incredible show.
Yeah.
Right. These are some really cool characters. So it was fun rewatching it this time with all of that in mind.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking at it through a different lens than I did before.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, this is even better than I thought.
Yeah. It's interesting for me because I watched it for the first time this past year, and then obviously now a second time being really analytical about it. But yeah, I went into it with that lens of the preconceived notion already of my sister has loved Ouran for a long time. I remember her getting the Ouran scroll with all the boys on it, and I didn't get it. I was like, oh, that doesn't look like it'd be something that I would like. But I know my sister loved it. And then when I started streaming with my friend Steph, it was brought up one day because we were talking about anime, as you do when you're in a conversation with me. It just comes up. And then she was just like, yeah, I love Ouran. And I was like, oh, what do you like about Ouran? And then it becomes this whole thing, it's pretty well known for those who have either watched it or been in circles with people who like it. that it has a reputation for being like very important to people with their like gender like awakening, or like, you know, very important to them growing up, and the kind of like thoughts of just what is gender norms, or like I don't have to be this thing. Yeah, gender identity, exactly. Like, I don't have to be this thing. Look at like what Haruhi does and stuff like that. And it's really fascinating now with like, you know, the people that I know who like love this.
I mean,
Right.
Paul brought up the character. There's a transgender character in there, but at the time, Paul was like, that wasn't even a thing. I don't think. I think it was just crossdresser.
Yeah.
Just blanket as crossdresser,
Right.
which is not the same thing.
Right.
No, it's not the same thing.
And that in itself just says, like, again, a show that's ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bringing up subjects that are difficult to talk about, but shouldn't be. And here's a lighthearted way to bring it up.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Yeah. It has some like age stuff that, you know, just at its time it was a little bit more.
2006.
2006 is, I guess, the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But
It actually came out April 2006, so almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 of the month.
dang, that's
Oh,
crazy.
well.
Yep.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
totally on purpose.
But yeah, it's good to acknowledge, I guess, like those faults, and you can see the progression to today, and you know, ideally we're getting better
Right.
each time. But it's at least not afraid to take it on, and I think being like upfront about that is like one of the things that I appreciated. They're so fascinating. So it is a harem anime. This isn't our first harem anime. You know, we've watched. Dang, that bad, huh? I remember you. I do remember you not liking it, and so like I guess, and that's why I wanted to pose this question. What does Ouran do that My Life as a Villainess doesn't do that makes you like it within this genre? I can talk about this genre forever. Everybody knows I love 100 Girlfriends. So, you know,
I mean, that is
like what makes a good harem to you? What or like, you know, not that you're a regular consumer of the harem anime, but like, what is it about this that is effective?
Can we start with Rob on that question? Because I've
What is it about Rob?
Yes, see.
He wasn't ready throwing pillows at me.
As Ouran was in my top 5.
Well, it's fun. To me, I think it's a good. I don't think harem.
Sure.
That's not a really strong part of the story. To me, but
Dude.
that's the first thing that I'd say.
But it is a harem.
It is, and it's kind of like how Red Line's a western.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
You know, this is just genre definitions. We don't have to go by genre definitions, but you know, I think it's easy to tread that ground. It's low hanging fruit, so I'm gonna pick it.
I have to rack my brain. I
Yeah.
have to like pull out from the dark recesses of my brain, my Pandora's box, about what I did not like about All Roads Lead to Doom or something like that.
Yeah. My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom.
Yeah. One, the main character is the easiest call out.
Mhm.
The protagonist is one I could not stand.
Okay.
Whereas Haruhi is so likable for
Yeah.
so many reasons. As the harem main love interest,
Mhm.
I feel like it's essential that the crowd also likes her too, or likes
Yes.
him or her. It's a reverse harem.
Which is interesting that you say that, because I think it is common in at least more recent harem that at least with the male lead, they are kind of anxious, for lack of a better term, like scaredy cats, or assholes, or they're just straight up assholes.
Ew.
They're pretty unlikable.
They're pretty unlikable in a lot of
This
ways.
is why I can't watch them.
and
I would
I
say
think
that's probably one of the main reasons why I don't really care for harem slap.
Yeah.
But it comes down to like the characters, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
you have to have a really likable main character, right? Which 100 Girlfriends
100 Girlfriends sounds like it
right?
does.
Like Rentaro.
Shout out to Rentaro.
The best protagonist for like a harem.
There is that brief moment, and when you've seen this episode 100 times, so you see it. There's a brief moment where Rentaro, he has to choose between the two girls, and he thinks to himself, what if I lied and was like, I chose you, but don't tell the other girl, because let's keep it kind of fun secret. And he's like envisioning that. And then it cuts to him confronting the two girls. And you're like, oh my god, he's going to tell one of them. He's going to pick one. He could not. Like, it flashes back to the evening when he even thinks about that. And he beats his ass up. He punches himself in the face and he's like, why don't you even think about this? These are two amazing people. That is idiotic of you. And I was like, oh my god. What a boy.
And I think also what is key is the rest of the cast has to be like very interesting and fleshed out, right? And I think Ouran has like a cast of like well fleshed out characters, right? So a lot of harem animes, like you just have like very one dimensional, like this is your trope character, and I'm like, well, I've been here before, I've seen this before, this is whatever, you know. There's nothing that stands out about it, right? So the better ones like Ouran or like 100 Girlfriends, you have to have all of that.
Yeah, All Roads Lead to Doom was their personality was their profession.
Yeah.
And their background from their family. That's it. There was nothing else to give them extra layers. I kind of actually look at a lot of animes from a harem perspective, like Mashal.
Yeah.
I look at that one as a harem where everyone's in love with Mashal, and then I go,
that's fun.
And so, you know, I mean, I don't remember who it was, but somebody told me, oh yeah, all animes are harems. And then also video games too. Like all video games, like JRPGs are harems. Like the character you're playing is the main character. So
I just got done with my favorite harem game of 2024, Unicorn Overlord. That harem cast is 59 characters deep. And actually, you can choose like a majority of them as your like significant other. So it for real is a harem anime. It's funny that you mentioned that.
Like I played Persona 5, and that's around the time that
all Persona games.
That was the first time I'd ever played a Persona game, so it was like I didn't know what I was in for. So then when someone was just like, "Yeah, it's just a harem," I was like, and now I just can't stop. Every time I tell Paul, like, "You're so gorgeous, Joker."
Looking cool, Joker.
Looking cool, Joker.
Oh my god, I can't.
So I watch like pretty much anything. I'll watch it and just put on the harem like glasses on for a second and go,
That's fun.
This, put the filter on. Is this a harem and how is it so? And like Mashal, I saw as that one too, but like the other characters also get flushed out, and then why they love Mashal. You know, what is it about him that they fall in love with? Helps develop him as a character too.
Right.
And that's what happens with Haruhi. So you develop more of Haruhi's character through her interactions, which is a great interactive story, right? And then All Roads Lead to Doom does not do that. She is who she is regardless of the world.
Yeah.
It means that she's almost like just plopped in here, almost like a manic dream pixie girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I cannot enjoy.
Because I do think, at least through the first season, certainly, she doesn't really change in All Roads Lead to Doom. I think that's one appealing thing about Haruhi is she does change.
Oh yeah.
She changes.
Yeah.
And not...
You see her like figuring it out as she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's very confident in a lot of ways.
It never goes away.
But and that never goes away. Right. But there are also doubts, and that makes her feel human and real, Very interesting. Okay. Where did you put Toradora? I'm just curious. This is just a random throwaway.
Put Toradora? Yeah, I love Toradora.
So Toradora is a good harem anime. What's Toradora? Toradora is also a harem. Where the guy, he's nicknamed the Dragon because he has like a very angry looking face. But he's actually like a nice, caring dude.
Kamasuda.
Yeah, he would never harm a fly. And then of course, there's Taiga.
Palm Top Taiga.
She's very small, but very fiery and and angry all the time.
They usually are.
And then the plot of it is essentially like Taiga likes his friend, he likes Taiga's friend, and what if we helped each other get to date the people that we like? And of course, classic narrative fashion, they slowly start to fall in love with each other, actually. But yeah, I was just curious about that one, because like, you know, I'm always, we're setting these like bars, and it's like, where do these like bars exist in comparison to other things we've ever watched? Like, obviously, you haven't consumed a lot of like harem anime. Have you consumed a lot? Would you say?
I've consumed a lot.
Because I know you generally don't like
between like 2010 and like 2014. So a lot of harem animes I was between that time. I was just consuming because I.
Do you have a favorite? Out of curiosity.
I don't think I'd have a favorite.
No.
I would have to sit and think about it.
Okay.
Right. Toradora would be high on that list.
Gotta go through his Rolodex.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Is Ouran like top three?
Ouran's up there.
It's up there.
It's up there. Yeah, that's a very strong one too.
If you have one that you say tops Ouran, I'd actually check it out because to me it's hard mentally to think of something topping its own genre.
I do.
I think Toradora is a really good one. I don't know if it will like top it for you, but it's like very high up there.
Yeah.
It's another one that just has like really well fleshed out characters throughout.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the problem with Toradora is it's similar to a lot of anime around its time. It's kind of similar to how I personally feel about Ouran is the ending stuff. Like just the fact that Ouran's thing is like exists in a time where we just didn't finish anime.
Right.
we didn't like for all intents and purposes, if we're looking at it through the genre lens, analyzing it through the genre lens, people have sat there who have only watched the show without a winner. Because part of the fun of like the harem anime is like cheering on a specific guy or girl or whomever and just being like, they should win this race.
That's my shit.
Yeah, you know,
it's all the Zanga feeds of like.
Yeah, it's the Zanga feeds, exactly. Holy cow.
Obviously,
Canon
is, I'm just here to deal out all the psychic damage.
Between that and Tumblr, like
she's a
Zanga!
It's just all the, but this is canon, guys.
Yeah.
Like, confirmed, this is canon. No, you just made that up. This is canon.
So here's the question.
The shipping wars.
Here's a question, and spoiler alert. Do you guys know who wins?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you guys feel about the one who wins in this anime? How do you feel about Tamaki?
That was.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Right.
It's obvious, right?
Yeah, it's very obvious.
From the very beginning, there was no question about it. So when they threw in the little side quest of Hikaru, you know, I mean, at some point, all of them kind of get explored in some way.
Yeah.
You know?
You kind of tease it out.
It's kind of like
you feed the community.
Yeah, it's like Avatar when they all go on a great adventure with Zuko. It's like they want a life-changing adventure with Zuko. That is like that's the harem thing too, right?
Yeah.
To explore the possibility of relationship with each one.
Yeah.
And then they do it more extensively with a couple of them. Like there's that like small. Could they though? You know, could one of the relationships actually challenge the one who's most threatened by everything? You know, who's the obvious, you know, one who's gonna win. But yeah, it's not like a disappointment or anything, and I like it too. I'm glad that they did include a small thing where they actually do have something in common.
Yeah.
Like at the end with the mother relationship.
Yeah, the mother relationship.
It's like that's a very small but very impactful thing that's shared. It's like I say small because it was done very quickly. They didn't work.
It is, that is one of my problems with the show, but at the end of the day, it's all the anime did that. It's like time during its time.
Oh, so it's one of those ones that you felt like, I think you said Keys does, where they don't let you
they
wallow in the moment.
Breathe.
Yeah.
It
definitely feels like that.
Oh, it did? Okay.
It's those last two episodes, at least for me, it's like suddenly
honestly,
everything's falling apart, and I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
and I don't know where, and I also don't know where the manga was at that point either.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because that anime was like 2006, right?
Yep.
And the manga, I think was still ongoing.
I think so too.
Right? So it might have just been.
Remember, everyone was getting messed up by this. Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
everyone split off. You know?
They started writing it in 2002, so it's not that long. That's not enough time to create enough content for a second season.
Right. So I'm sure it was just like, how do we do this?
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
I mean, the ending is literally, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
You're welcome to Magic or Music Room 3 anytime.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we end?
Yeah, which is why I think it would be an absolute treat if it came back, but it's hard.
Yeah,
I get it.
So, one of the reasons I feel like it would be really hard, I don't know if this is a sidebar, so sorry if it's like kind of off,
No, I don't think
but the voice acting is some of the best English dub
It is.
that I've ever seen. And Paul and I had a conversation about like last night, like where has it been that good in like recent? What is something else we could compare with? Like Full Metal, I think also had amazing voice acting at the time.
Yes.
Ironic, right? We have the same lead character
English?
too, voice actor.
That actually like blows me away.
Yeah.
That's hard. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, because like we were
That
looking
isn't
at,
like a Ghibli movie because Ghibli does a really good job of that stuff in my opinion.
But they have a budget; they take their time.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. That's part of it.
We're talking like episodic animes, so.
Like I haven't been blown away by anything. Like I like Dungeon Meshi's.
We thought about that one too, but we were like, it's still not that good.
But it's not
Right.
It's not at that level.
No.
No, it's not. Yeah, I don't know, and we're still like kind of navigating it though. Like, I feel like there are people who are worthy of like good English voice acting. Oh, you know who's pretty good? It's hard because it's just like one character is like really good, right? Like I think of like Amelie's performance as in My Dress Up Darling,
Okay.
stellar. Like she's amazing as Marin, or who's the girl who does Nagatoro in English? She's amazing too. Like
I hear that the free reign dub is very strong.
I see clips from it.
I've heard clips of it. It sounds fantastic. A lot of people have been hyping up the overall dub performance.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it all in dub. So
Another good performance is the narrator for Kaguya-sama in English.
That's a good dub.
Yeah.
That's an overall good dub.
Yeah.
What is it?
Kaguya-sama, Love is War.
Mm.
Wow. Have I never talked about Kaguya-sama, Love is War in front of you?
I would almost say like maybe that one kind of blew me away. I was very impressed by that dub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a very
it's
good
a while. Like it's fun. That's a fun one because I feel like we were caught up in a particular time period where it was like we have to try to sound like an annoying like how the Japanese ham it up instead of just like how do we recontextualize it for English voice actors.
Right.
But Kaguya-sama is so zany that it's like it is quintessential. You ham it up.
Yeah.
But like
It's not an Astro podcast. Unless you say it's
oh my God, you're right. That's but like, do it in this way, you know, like how is it this playground of like, how can we play with this script and, you know, just the clips of in English where I see it. I also think, what's it called is considered good. What's the one about the octuplets? You know what I'm talking about, all the boys. Oshimatsu or something like that.
That's the one that my roommate Mark is like obsessed.
Yeah, he loves it.
Osumatsu.
Osumatsu, yeah, Osumatsu. Which was a really, really old anime, but they modernized it and made them adults. So they're getting into like adult antics. But I think Ego-Raptor is one of the voice actors.
Oh my God.
And I remember
more psychic damage.
I remember seeing a clip where they're on a game show. And then it shows up on screen. Obama shows up on screen, and Arnaz is just like, Obama! And both, like, the Japanese and English, whichever side you watch it on, it's just ridiculous. Can't help but, like, bust out laughing. So, yeah, to double back, you were saying part of it hard today is you think... But they don't necessarily like make anime with the intent to have like a good English dub, right?
No. but that's part of the reason I did watch Ouran, right? If we're talking about accessibility, I mean, that was one of the issues I had with Sonic Galaxy, accessibility, and was having the English dub does help, and a good one. I know that not long after Ouran, I started watching Seven Deadly Sins. I watched Sword Art Online, which had just been like a new release at that time.
Yeah, that was all the rage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, and I think that was my first isekai ever.
Sword Art?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of people's, actually.
Yeah, I was not aware of the genre of falling into another world, and then after that, this like all of them came out.
It popularized it.
Oh,
so
easily. It was like, wait, that's the ticket.
Yo,
Ticket to
We
success.
need that Sword Art money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was when Blair Witch Project came out. Found footage. Found footage. We gotta make found footage. It's easy to make money. You know, like, so yeah.
So cheap.
So yeah, no, I completely get it. Do you like Sword Art Online?
No, I like the first season, but I hate the second season.
That's how it goes.
And I also got sick
Yep,
of
that's
it.
standard.
I
Par
got
for the course.
sick of it in the first season too.
Yeah.
Like I was already getting tired of it.
I feel like the first half of the first season is like, oh, this is pretty good, and then it just kind of falls.
Oh yeah,
And
and
pretty
then
hard.
I
season
agree.
2 does not
yeah.
help.
I agree.
So yeah, standard response, I guess, to Sword Art Online. But
Yeah.
I watched Ouran in English. I watched Seven Deadly Sins in German.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like looking at subtitles and I saw all the options they had, and I was like, German, don't mind this I
Is
do.
it a good German though?
Oh, it's great.
That's awesome.
It all the characters actually make more sense to me
Yeah.
in German
That's funny.
because of it kind of takes place in
Yeah, it's like a European like style
yeah.
show. It's got a European aesthetic.
Yeah.
European aesthetic.
So I think in between that time I also watched Your Lie in April in English,
Okay.
which had very Shakespearean sonnet style
Yep.
writing. So I was like, oh wow, okay, they've really gone and westernized some of this.
Yeah.
So
that's not even like just good voice acting. It's also like it has to be good
the
writing.
writing was good
In order
too.
to convey stuff like that.
Sword Art did the same thing too. So I watched that one in English as well. And the writing was like, oh, that feels like a regular American speaking. It doesn't feel like a Japanese person pretending to speak English.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so I was like, okay, seems like anime's come a ways since I last watched it. Makes sense. It's been 13 years.
Mhm.
Cool. Let's keep going. So that's why I kind of bring up. They may not start with that thought in mind,
Yeah.
but I do like, is the story accessible enough that you can translate it and
Yeah.
it feels good? You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to Your Name on that. Your Name's basically my 100 girlfriends, and the English in that one has made me feel like I can actually introduce this story to people and they'll go, I get it.
Mhm.
You know, more so than maybe if I were to introduce them to Red Line.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Hmm. Really curious. Okay. So, like, aside from that, do you think there would be anything holding it back from like coming back strong?
Ouran?
Yeah, or I asked this because it's interesting with Fruits Basket having come back. I feel like Fruits Basket was like a
That was huge when the manga came out.
Yes.
That was like, I couldn't, like every middle school table
yes.
had a girl sitting at the table reading her nose deep in Fruits Baskets and then exchanging
be Toru.
the next volume with their friends and
Yeah.
then like just passing it around.
That's
So,
one of my favorite harems, actually. I like Fruit Basket a lot.
Yeah,
oh,
Fruits
so
Basket.
I know nothing about Fruits Basket other than everyone loved it, so I went even more. I was that kind of kid.
Yep.
Okay, so that made a revival basically recently.
Yeah, so there was that original anime back in early 2000s, I
Yeah,
want to say.
it's around, yeah.
Early
And then,
mid.
yeah, past couple of years, they have a new one. They have a completely new animation.
Complete remake. They
Complete
told it
remake.
faithfully.
Yeah, they told it faithfully. It doesn't end, because that whole anime also ends somewhere, like, kind of just in the middle. No winner.
Yeah.
It's done now. You know, like,
So like some original content, because again, I don't think it was finished at the time.
Yep.
And then it was just kind of left there, and like fans like the anime, right? But there's that sense of like, oh, this never was completed, or this was never
Yeah.
done faithfully, right?
Right.
And just randomly out of nowhere in like 2016 or something like that. It was like announcement, new Fruits Basket anime coming. It was like, what?
Yeah, it was pretty mind blowing. Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it's super good.
Have you ever done a remake of what was it, Rodman 1.5?
No, but I'm waiting for them to do one.
Because, I mean, so
Urusei same era too.
Yeah, Urusei Yatsura is ongoing right now, and that's made by the same artist. And Urusei Yatsura is really cool because, right, it existed in a very different time period.
What did you say? What is it?
Urusei Yatsura was her ticket to fame, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, it was her first hit. Same author and illustrator as Rama.
Okay.
About a girl who... Its entire story is fascinating. It's this, like, demon girl. Or, no, she's an alien, right? Alien?
She's dressed up as an Oni, so I believe demon.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, she's a demon. And in the first, like, arc, there's some sort of weird thing where the demons and the humans have to play a game, and if the demons win, they get to, like I guess just mess up Earth or something like that. Like
it's do demon things.
Like it was some sort of competition.
Yeah.
And it's a game where Earth had to get like a random boy to represent them, and it's this punk ass high schooler. And then the one representing the demons is a princess. And all he has to do is like touch her horns. And through like a series of like wackadoo antics, he manages to do it. And then there's peace, but the demons get to like hang out and like vibe too. And she essentially like, I think they get engaged, or like it becomes an arranged marriage like type of situation. And she attends school with him and stuff like that, but he doesn't really like her. He's like super childish, and she wants to like him, but also he's stupid and childish and like, why are you doing this? She originally, when the author like wrote that character, was not supposed to be the main character. What formed the entire plot of Urusei Yatsura going forward was not intentional. That story was supposed to be just a one-off. She was going to be a done character. But she was so popular that became the story.
It's a Bob Ross happy little accident.
Yeah, exactly. And
a lot of characters are actually accidents that, because they were so popular, they become more fleshed out, and you're like, actually, that's a good foundation for a character.
And so, that happened in, I want to say the original anime was like, oh god, like 80s even. They modernized it. But what's crazy about that, the modern version of it, is how it looks. It has retained the like old school Ranma 1/2 look, but is also still very clearly modern animation.
That's funny, because we talked about Pluto being that way.
Yeah.
Pluto modern, but it was, it's got the Astro Boy.
Yeah, the older aesthetic.
Yes.
And Urusei Yatsura did it with flying colors, I think. But then also, like, modernizes the story. We have cell phones, we have, like, these kind of, like, high school type of stuff. They change it up, but that kind of, like, shows how timeless the story is.
Yeah. That's something that we see all the time in any kind of, like, storytelling literature, right? We see remakes or renditions of Romeo and Juliet, right? We also see remakes of Great Gatsby, where they did the version with Jay-Z and Beyonce and Black Eyed Peas as the soundtrack.
Yeah, oh boy.
But it does a great job of making it accessible to a modern... absolutely. But it makes it accessible to a modern audience. Yeah. And I think to show the timelessness of a story is a fantastic sign of a good story.
Yeah.
When you ask, could Ouran do that now? I'm not sure.
And what's holding you back?
I really need to figure that one out, but something immediately in me said, I don't think so. Because I know where the manga goes from here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it loses a lot of its magic after pretty much where they stopped.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have a different opinion.
Well, I mean, I know where the manga goes, right? But I don't know like specifics. I didn't read it myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like they could do it, but I don't.
So you
You clearly have some details that maybe I don't. That's like kind of holding me back.
So you both said you're not disappointed with Tamaki being the quote unquote winner of our Hero Man.
Are you?
Shipping wars, let's go.
Kind of.
I mean, I don't really have the Tamaki ship, but you know, I see it.
Would you rather someone else? Is the question, I guess. Here.
I mean, y'all saw my nickname in chat. Y'all know where I stand.
So this morning, we have our own little Facebook Messenger chat group, and we have a nickname for everybody that we wrote ourselves. And we decided, oh wait, season 2, let's change our names.
Yeah.
Oh boy. If you want to find out, give us a little donation.
Here we go!
Buy a cup of coffee, we'll tell you. A cup of coffee.
Oh my god.
But man, that's a hoot.
Man, did I take so much damage.
A lot of little second damage rolled out. Rob.
So what about you? Like, is Tamaki who you would...
Yeah, for the way the story was built.
It's built around him.
It is definitely built around him.
It is, and it would feel a little bit of a fan service, if that, I don't know if that's the right word, but it sounds right in my head.
Sure.
Of making it somebody else.
Dang.
If it became that way. So I'm curious who you think or what you're thinking, because I'm actually curious if you even think any of them deserve her.
Also valid.
So me, I don't like Tamaki because, well, don't like is such a strong. This feels strong. It's
I can't believe you hate Tamaki.
It's not strong.
Tamaki hater.
I also am not like...
Let's change his name right now.
I
Go
don't
to the fan base after him right now.
So as a like occasional harem enjoyer, like I don't
as the harem aficionado.
no, as the occasional harem enjoyer, I don't dislike him in the same way that I dislike Yotsuba in Quintessential Quintuplets. Like that one was egregious, but Tamaki feels like. So he's like a man-child a little bit, right?
Totally.
A little whiny baby.
Totally.
Yes.
To
And
its core.
and for her to end up with Tamaki is like almost like this was already what she was living with her dad. Like she was already like kind of taking care of a man-child, and it's just like the cycle continues, I guess, with him for me. And granted, here's the asterisk. Like, I do not know fully how Tamaki develops. Does he like become less of a man-child, or is he still like a man-child? And if he stays that man-child and she ends up with Tamaki, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Because to me, my favorite episodes are actually any of the episodes involving the twins.
That's funny. I'm curious, and I'd love to know, like, even if any of our watchers want to answer on that, but do the guys typically love the story with the twins? Because every guy I've talked to loves the twins. The twins made me the most uncomfortable.
Why?
One, the conflict of them not having identities outside of each other. It's always a scary thing, right? Because that is another human being that you are identifying as part of your like who you are. And if that were to go away, you have no control over them, right? And I think that's something I'm also wary of when it comes to motherhood. I'm taking it to a different like psychological level here.
Sure.
But motherhood does the same thing. Your entire personality can be, I am a mom.
Yeah.
And then if your kid, something happens, like your relationship falls apart with your kid, they denounce you for whatever reason. You realize this kid was born with hating everything that you loved in life and disvalued everything that you valued heavily, despite your upbringing. It's like, nurture versus nature. They're still your kid, but that became your identity. Now you are psychologically like at a huge weakness with that. And so watching their whole experience as like they kind of started to grow apart was good.
Yeah.
The fact that it's instigated by a person is also nice, but also too much of a little bit becomes a little bit too manic dream pixie girl kind of a moment for me. And then I didn't believe Karu's sometimes with things that he would say. Like how comfortable he was with XYZ or why he came to that notion.
Yeah.
How did he develop on his own? You know, like I didn't
As the
get.
level-headed one?
Yeah, I never got that answer. You know, and then when also later on there are points where Hikaru seems to become more level-headed, and I was like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
So it became unbelievable where I didn't trust them anymore, and that's why they made me uncomfortable.
Right. So maybe they could have spent more time like going through how they became that way, like how they grew into like their positions.
I think you could spend time on it and it would still feel
forced.
Yeah, like the fact that you feel like you have to answer that question makes it already seem inorganic.
Interesting.
So do you think they couldn't have made it organic in any way? Like just from the way that it was set up initially? Like there's no way they could have navigated it?
They fed them too much into their trope. And
Okay.
they did not do that with Mori and Honey.
Right.
They did not do that with Kyoya.
Right.
Those twins, though, were such a difficult and deep trope
Right.
that there was no pulling them out.
There was no. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying.
So I would actually say that's a flaw. That's one reason I also feel like Ouran could not continue because they were one of the most loved pairs, and what would happen with them is going to disappoint half the group and make the other half also curious or question, maybe like it. I don't know if they'll love it though. It's a hard one. So it's a huge gamble, and that's like half the cast there that's lovable. Haruhi would be a character that would fall well in now.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Kyoya as well. I think there'd be a lot more Kyoya Haruhi ships.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and the fact that it ends too with the fathers having that conversation.
That just fans the flames.
It does fan the flames, yeah.
Also, that scene with Kyoya very early on and Haruhi on the beach and
I like that scene.
Oh.
yeah, I was like,
That's
okay.
one of those like not good aged things.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But that was like early on, and that's like part of the foundation of their relationship. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But he would be shipped with her.
For sure.
Yeah.
The internet's a dark place.
It is. But yeah, that's then Honey Senpai Mori. I feel like they would actually fall out really fast.
I think so too.
And then that becomes very small.
But I do like some of the stuff they explore. I do like Honey's, I'm allowed to like cute things. I'm allowed to be cute.
Yeah.
And when I joined this club, because I think like, you know, it's not just the gender identity with Haruhi. Like, being cute is not like, especially around that time period, was like, guys can't be cute, we gotta be tough. You know, like, and here is this guy, he's a straight killer.
Right.
Like, my man, soldiers are afraid of Honey.
Yeah.
And Honey was like, bro, I love cake. I love cake,
And
y'all.
also, you can hold Usa-chan.
Yeah, exactly. And it is like, but don't wake him up.
Bro, his brother like walked in on him like in the middle of the night, and he's just like by candlelight with all the cakes, and I was just like, "Hey,
Like a freak.
you want some cake too?"
That bit is so good.
Yeah.
And it is a joke, but it's also like, oh, somebody's gonna relate to that, you know? Like, I want to like cute things.
Absolutely.
I want to. I jokingly a while back, and you know, this one isn't as powerful. I remember jokingly saying, like, man, I wish it was societally acceptable for men to wear rain boots. I want little rain booties. And it's like,
Wait, what do you guys wear when it rains? On your feet.
I guess shoes and my socks get wet.
I mean, yeah. Is there another answer?
Rip.
What?
But it's okay to buy rain boots. Buy some rain boots.
Buy rain boots.
Yeah. So.
Or spend that money in
Yeah, or spend money on our Patreon and get the official JSB rain boots.
And they said
You're like, Julia just writing down like,
Yeah. How can we make
Okay.
money?
Ask us who our favorite character was at some point, because I think it's going to be pretty fucking obvious.
But yeah, so anyway, I digress. And yeah, Maury is a very classic trope, and I feel like they don't do enough with him in this time frame of the show.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much more to explore with that character.
Because he kind of just exists for honey.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's a trope that's been explored in 100 Girlfriends.
Honey would be empty without Maury. And Maury would be empty without Honey.
They have to be together. Yes.
In fact, I got really close to before I rewatched it, remembering them as a thing afterwards, and I was like, wait a minute, they're cousins.
Yeah.
Like, oh, oops.
You know, that's not the internet.
The ship is still strong, though.
The internet will not stop.
They did actually say, too, that they're not cousins by blood.
There it is.
By marriage.
There it is.
By law.
You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
The ship works. The ship has not cracked.
Give them an inch,
On
they will
course.
take.
That's how I remember that, too.
Yeah.
It's my Moe.
So
listening.
So specific.
She was in the trenches.
Here's a question. What did Tamaki tell Claire as he was jumping out of the car during the final episode?
Did they not say it?
I don't think so.
I thought they
They
did.
said.
They did?
Yeah.
Am I not paying attention?
He wasn't paying attention.
What did he say?
He said thank you, Claire.
And why?
Because she let him go.
Okay.
And he knew how hard that was for her.
Yeah.
That was like for this very, 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 very selfish person.
Yes.
Had a one selfless moment, and he was like, "I'm grateful that you chose right now to be selfless."
Yeah.
And to see her in that too is what she felt. She felt seen. And it's like kind of what she needed. She's just wearing these fucking like opera.
Yeah, she's always from a distance.
Right.
From the shadows. I mean, she was a character literally from the shadows.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
And you understand too, you get a little glimpse of how she might have been in the shadows, like so how she might have been watching the whole time, kind of a thing.
Right.
But, yeah, he sees her, and that means so much to her. It's kind of like whenever you're trying to develop a relationship with somebody, one thing that you can do is observe what do they do for everybody else, because that's something they probably would want done for them, even if they never asked for it.
Yeah.
Like if someone constantly sends out like thank you notes and mails you an actual physical letter, but they never ask for one in return, imagine what it does for them when you send one back.
Yeah.
So that's the same kind of like love language that she was, that Tamaki used with her.
Yeah.
Like he has that strong emotional intelligence that he just like really quickly says, looks at her, smiles and says, thank you.
Yeah.
And not long-winded. You don't need a lot of words here.
Very simple.
Very short with her words too.
Mm-hmm.
And it just spoke volumes. But yeah, that's I think, yeah.
All right, there's one major character I guess we haven't talked about, but this is kind of like a goofy, funny ha-ha for me. How do you feel about Renge?
Best character in the show.
All right, best character in the show?
What was that?
I'm gonna clip out that burp, y'all.
No, it was week like 2 out of 10.
Oh.
How do you feel about Renge? Do you like Renge?
I hated her.
Uh-oh! A house divided.
No, do we need another thing of sake for this one?
Do we need to take a break?
I think we need to take a renegade.
All right, we're gonna get on the subject of Renge
man,
in just a minute. So we'll be right back.
Start turning.
It's empty. Just her little.
We're back, and
That was stressful.
the Hime laugh was just explained to Jenny.
How do you feel about the email laugh?
I hate it. Why is it a thing? Well, so first of all, one of my confusions about the laugh at all is because they didn't have it in the English dub.
Wait, what do you mean?
They don't have her laughing like that. Like,
How does she laugh?
Alright.
So I guess I don't get that experience of the. No, she just does the like.
Yeah.
Which actually seems more Western now. I think.
I mean, it is,
Even
it
like
is,
the
it is.
pose and like the air of it.
It is.
But yeah, every time she shows up, I'm like, stop. I don't need this explanation right now. I get it. One thing I also felt sad about was I never got her references. So she would be cosplayed randomly throughout. I never got a single one of them. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, oh man, I'm like left out of this inside joke.
Oh, okay.
And I think even her laugh now that I'm talking about it
is
even more of an inside joke.
Right. Because that is definitely part of like that character trope, right? And especially in that like that time, that was probably like peak like he may laugh era.
Yeah.
Right, where everybody's like really excited and very like enjoying that whole bit.
I know she's supposed to embody. Isn't she supposed to embody like an otaku?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because when she comes into play, right, like she has this fascination with the video game, right?
Yes.
And the character is like, Kyoya.
This is not how it was supposed to be. This is not who you really are. Like, I'm a real human being.
Spoiler alert, I'm a real human being.
Kind of situation. Yeah. Kiyoyo was having none of that. But yeah, that's... Man, so you just straight up don't like her.
Oh my god, no. Every time she appeared, she annoyed me. Which now, is that my statement about otaku?
You heard it here. And he said otakus are gross and awful.
They don't shower.
At no point do we think Renge doesn't shower, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's purely just the whole... She does embody like that obsession.
She does.
Though. And has nothing else to do other than be on standby to appear and comment about the otaku-ness of this moment, this scene.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, the only episode I think I really liked her in is one of the episodes I skipped with Paul, his first watch with me, because I hated the episode. And it's like one of those weird ones that I felt like was a filler, doesn't really add to the story, doesn't add to the character development or love of the characters, did not make me like them any more or less. That's where I would kind of throw them out the window.
Right.
When I gave Paul his first like full watch through. Full watch through.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want me to talk about that episode? Or?
Yeah. Well, which episode is it?
It was Haruhi in Wonderland. So she has her Alice
that
in
does feel like
Wonderland.
a filler episode. It does feel like a filler episode.
But that was the only time I liked Renge?
Renge?
Yeah.
Who's she in that?
She's the one on trial.
Oh, right.
With the court, the king and the queen.
Right.
For abandoning her child.
Okay. It does have a filler feeling, I guess, but I do like the episode.
Oh, the ending made up for everything.
That's key.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Right.
And I forgot the ending because it took so long to get there.
Yeah.
Because all this other stuff happened and it's just weird. It doesn't...
It's just random.
It is random.
It's
but
very random thing
animes do that though.
Of
they
course.
have the beach episodes, they have the drug episode.
This anime practically had 2 beach episodes.
It did.
The water park episode was like, this is a real beach episode.
Yeah.
It's like, bro.
Back to back?
Yeah, back to back? Come on.
You know.
Yeah, interesting. So you like her in that, but you don't like her. You don't even like the episode she shows up? No.
Because I felt bad for Kyoya.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because he was not treated like a human at that.
Right.
And I think that's something that potentially all of them could struggle with. So we got to watch him struggle with that.
Yes.
And then as a very matter-of-fact character, he's even less able to suspend the disbelief. So he even stays outside of the whole Ouran like host situation. He's never seen sitting down with clients.
Right.
He's just the one. He's like the host reading them.
That's
saying,
it.
I've got better things to offer than myself, but I'm sure you don't mind looking at me at the same time.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Right.
Just briefly, So he usually removes himself from being a host, so he doesn't cater to others like whims. Other than in a financial business manner.
Yeah.
And in fact, he delegates that responsibility.
Yes.
So to watch him like kind of struggle with that, I was like, Man, it was very necessary. I will
Yes.
not say I hated the episode because it was like a filler. It
Right.
was very necessary. It's one that I will not skip. Her
It's just like
introduction-
the character herself is like what you don't. Yeah.
she frustrates me, and I
But
think
doesn't she change after that episode?
no,
No?
I don't think so. Do you think so?
I don't know if I would say she necessarily changes. She doesn't really change. But I guess like. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I guess.
Do you think she changes?
Do you think?
I think she learns to respect a boundary. I won't say that she is a completely changed person,
Right.
but I think
Like
she,
there's a line.
yeah,
that, like
there's a
she's
line
not
and
going
she
to
learns to not
cross.
cross it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that.
Right. She's kind of like found her place in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. She like knows her lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Despite like
but at her core, she's still.
she's
All right, time for the factoids about these boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Her involvement. Oh, you know, another episode I did like her in was the naughty boy.
Naughty boy.
The
Oh,
and Honey
the-
Senpai's like rival, the bad boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid.
God, was it Bossa Nova?
Oh, that guy too. No, this was
Oh,
the
this
little
was the
kid.
the
Oh,
the
right,
kid.
right,
Like,
right,
trying to
right,
learn how to
right.
become a host.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Her involvement in that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
No one else could have done that role better.
Mhm.
Tamaki couldn't do that level that she put him through.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, add some band-aids.
Okay. What is it about her that you like, Rob? Though?
I'm here for the goofy antics.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's nothing
that's
deep.
right,
It's
yeah.
just like
It's nothing
just
deep.
goofy
Like she doesn't
fun
add
time.
to like the overall story or anything. She's not here for that. She is just here as like a comedy break in some instances, right? Every time it breaks to the motors turning, I'm just like, oh, we're in for some shit now. And then she just comes up twirling on the fucking platform with the email laugh, and I'm just like, oh, we're in it.
Yeah.
And she says some goofy shit and then just goes back underground. Like, where did it come from? Like,
Yeah.
how do you have this hole everywhere in this school? Like,
Yeah.
Money.
money solves everything. You're right. Or like the episode with like Honey Senpai and his brother, right? And she like comes up and she has like a whole announcer desk and she's just a WWE announcer.
Yeah,
desk,
exactly.
Like, got a fan and everything. I'm just like, Rango, you're great. Like, it's just, this is the energy I
Oh
want.
yeah, you
here.
like antics. I
like,
don't.
that's it. Like, I love
Yeah.
those
Show's full of
antics.
antics.
Let me see. Is it though?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But it also has like really strong characters behind those antics,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
That you can latch on to
Correct.
and stuff, right? It's not just like empty antics.
Okay, give me an idea of an antic, because maybe I'm like confusing an antic.
The toothache episode.
The what?
That's an entire
Oh.
antic.
Okay.
Even the twins. So like the twins obviously have some serious stuff,
Yeah.
but like today we have different colored hair. Can you tell the difference? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an antic.
Oh, well,
quote unquote.
I guess it develops the story, whereas I felt like she was like interrupting
Mhm.
the story.
Yeah.
Not really, to me, adding anything really helpful,
Mhm.
except
Right.
maybe explaining to people who are not otakus.
Mhm.
And maybe she increases the accessibility, because there were things that she explained, like, I mean, I know the word moe now because
Yeah.
of her.
Shouts Moe.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So those were the things I appreciated. When she gave when she would kind of help fill in gaps too. So one thing that we got to keep in mind too, in the storytelling, Haruhi's the only female.
Yeah.
Sometimes she would help kind of buffer things that Haruhi didn't have to explain because Renge explained them, like from a female perspective.
Yeah.
And that I do think she is useful. But antics wise, I think it didn't seem like an antic because it fed the storyline along. It
I
felt
see.
along with the character too.
Yeah.
It didn't have to
They were
work.
along with the character. These antics were along with the character.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess her style of antics were just to me like an interruption
It-
to
it does-
your daily regular schedule.
Yeah, it doesn't add to anything. Thus,
Yeah.
like, why are you here?
Right.
type energy.
I guess like it kind of is like a sidebar in like say Dr. Stone, where he pops up and goes, "Kids, don't try this at home. This is actually a recipe for explosive." You know.
Mm-hmm.
Or common medicine. You know, is like the one thing. Antibiotics are very dangerous. Please do not try and make one at home and try to
Right.
remedy your own ailments with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Right. Don't do that,
Okay,
please.
she was like that, but like way more time-taking and dramatic, and also her as a character never really did anything other than that. Like she didn't
You're right.
grow as a character.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't like.
What if she does in the manga?
She doesn't, as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just comic relief.
Yeah.
And I don't always hate comic relief characters.
Right,
I really love the brother in The Mummy.
Not the Mummy. I was about to say another anime.
No. The Mummy.
The anime, The Mummy?
The Mummy.
I did a film study of The Mummy and
Yeah.
like the characters and all that, and like they were like, "What's the brother?" And I was like, "Oh my god, he's a classic comic relief.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He is the epitome of a comic relief."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you like Ringai.
I like Ringai.
Yeah.
I like Ringai.
Yeah.
Why do I like Ringai?
reason? Is it because of the antics as well? Is there,
Yeah,
is there a deeper reason?
I do love the antics, but I'm
You are a
also
jokester.
I am a jokester.
I have no humor.
I love a good, fun-loving drama character. My Tina Opera O's,
Mm-hmm.
my silly little drama queens. I do love those types of characters. And I think Renge fits that. And I relate to the, I guess, otaku-ness of her. I am the type of person who would interrupt. I mean, that's all I riff on when I stream with Steph.
Yeah.
Is how much like the characters in Virtue's Last Reward are just me.
Mm-hmm.
They literally go through a moment. It's like, have you heard of Schrodinger's cat? And then they'll be like, is now really the time? And I'm like, yes. And then they'll be like, okay, fine, explain it to me. And I'll be like, yes, I get to explain Schrodinger's cat! Or I get to talk about, like, quantum physics or something stupid. And so, like, Renge, I can't help but see myself in, like, her busting out into the scene. Here's what's going on right now! Why is this fun? Why is this crazy?
He's like handing him a mic and everything.
Right, yeah,
Same
exactly.
thing.
My powerful motor kicks in, and I just I bust out like the Kool-Aid man.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, 100 girlfriends. So that's the reason I like her. Like, I get it because I couldn't help but get that vibe too when I watched it for the very first time of a and I talked with it. Actually, it's funny talking with Steph about it, who rewatched it with me. She's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I really didn't like Renge. Watching it with you, though, I kind of like the antics. And I can't help but if it's like me just...
Yep.
Like, the energy I output when Renge shows up on screen, because I'm just like, oh my god, look, Renge's sliding over.
Your energy is contagious, I'll tell you that.
So I like Renge, but it's nothing deep. It's aside from and even though I
Antics are
relate
about
to
as
her,
shallow as it gets.
and even though I relate to her in that way, it's nothing more beyond that, I guess. But I do think she is a very fun character in a fun show.
She's definitely not a character I would throw out from the show.
Mm.
Like, we've talked about that before. We're
Yes.
like, man, this character was not needed.
Yeah.
Throw them out.
Take them out.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's not one that I would do that. I don't
Gotcha.
think there's actually any characters I would have thrown out.
In Ouran, who they cover, I agree.
I agree.
I think they all have even little moments. Even what's his name? Neko. What's his name? Who's the Dark Wizard boy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The prince or
I like his little episode.
Yeah,
That's a
he
sweet
keeps
episode.
coming back too.
Yeah.
Like little references to his character.
That's a sweet, cute little episode. These side characters, even if they're one-offs, in Ouran they do a good job of the council president who's afraid.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
can't convey his feelings.
Yep.
Fun character,
Yes.
a fun little moment, just one episode, not a wasted character.
No,
So I think
not
Ouran
at
does a
all.
good job.
Yeah.
With that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, I think that's all I really actually had as far as what I wanted to cover. Do you guys have anything else you would like to cover with Ouran?
We covered pretty much everything, right? Anything?
I have one.
Okay.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on both the aging of this concept and then the characters themselves.
Okay.
Is the all girls school? Love.
Oh wait,
Lebalia.
I'm actually surprised we didn't talk about
How did we not
Lebalia.
talk about because we were riffing on the Lebalia before we started?
What was it? La Belia.
Lebalia. Clip it.
How do we all feel about Lebalia?
I think that's I'm sure there's a way to dig deep in here. I'm sure because it is part of that like. I'm sure someone has done some sort of study of like they're trying to like call to Haruhi, you know, and the whole there's got to be a gender identity maybe analysis of it, but I would not be able to tackle it. Like I would not be able to tackle it in a very healthy manner.
Right.
So for me, it's just haha funny ladies who spin around.
So catchy though. Oh my god, I loved everything they did.
And also they do the theater thing. They do the what is it called? Teruzaku Theater, or whatever it's called. Yeah, that stuff is awesome.
That made me. I thought of that when we were watching. I'm gonna butcher the name.
Your favorite anime. Your favorite anime is a Kadowa Shoujo. Or not Kadowa Shoujo. Oh my god, that's a deep cut. You guys have scrambled my brain.
Psychic damage.
Yeah, you just took psychic damage there by me saying Kadowa Shoujo. Holy cannoli. Ah! Kageki Shoujo.
Yeah, I was like, Kawasai Joki Kisusoji.
There it is. Me getting brain salad and saying Kadowa Shoujo,
I'm
bro.
just gonna have a whole soundboard of just Jenny pronouncing
Kageki Shoujo.
Brain does not.
Was that what you were thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, the blonde chick with the
Definitely not yet. Kadowa Shoujo. Do you know what Kadowa Shoujo
No,
is?
it's just like I'm so confused at your reaction.
That's a whole thing.
All right.
Anyway.
That'll be side stories of his be anime cast.
Right. It could easily be, but continue.
But it made me think of that because of the theater thing.
Yes.
And the way they played the dramatics and all that. I was like, okay, that's a real environment.
Is the lead girl Lobelia voiced by a man?
I don't know. I don't think so.
She had like a masked voice to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's just a female with an alto voice.
Just a very deep voice.
Very sultry.
Because I couldn't help but feel like, oh, this is really fascinating if they took that approach and like, you know, she's very, how do I describe it? I don't know. She does have like she's androgynous. She's pretty androgynous.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
the point.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, which is the point. And I don't know. I'm just kind of interested. If anybody knew off the top of their head.
I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Denny Barra.
Yeah. They were fun characters. They show up only twice.
Yeah.
And boy, they're very dynamic when they show up.
It's really funny because in my mind, like when I think about Ouran, like Lobelia girls pop up a lot. Like I just think about them twirling. I'm just like, oh, they're funny. I forgot how little you see them. Like in my brain, I think like, oh, you see them more.
Yeah.
They leave a mark.
But yeah, they leave such an impression, right? That I'm like, oh, they were really only here just for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about them for like 10 years.
They're a big deal, man.
I love them. They're great.
So you like Lobelia?
I do. And as you said, like I'm sure there is a deeper study of them. Like there's definitely something there, right? I would not be qualified to talk on any of that stuff.
The siren song of the all-girls school, you know?
Right.
Somebody's got that headline in a YouTube essay.
Of course. But I do find them to be a very fascinating group, right? And how they do try to pull Haruhi, and that's a whole. Well, Haruhi, like, she was never going to go over there, right?
No.
But it was a whole crisis of like,
not everyone knew that.
Not everyone knew that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's crisis with everybody else. It's just like, what does Haruhi want? Like, does she want to go to this school? Does she want to stay with us as a host? That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Little art. Lobelia girls.
You're making a face.
I am, because I'm researching the voice actresses for Benio.
For Benio. That's her name.
Benio
That's
from Lobelia.
Yeah.
So Lobelia, all-girls school.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of a foil to Ouran.
Yes.
Which is a co-ed school. And here we have an all-male cast.
Yeah.
Male cast.
Yeah.
So they're both female voice actors for the Japanese and English.
Yeah.
The female for the Japanese, very androgynous looking. Like as soon as the picture showed up, I was like, oh, Asher might be right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But definitely all the pronouns her, she,
Right.
female.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that kind of lends to that, I'm sure,
For sure.
a little bit.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't help but just think about it. And like I said, I wish I had the tools to do a deeper dive on it, because I'm sure there was like artist intent maybe with it, but I cannot.
This lends more to my thoughts around the voice acting and how good it was. Even with the casting, we're seeing like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they put a lot of thought into the character designs. I mean, she kind of looks like Benio.
Yeah.
She's got even almost the same shag haircut.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Right.
And, okay, this is gonna sound terrible, and I'm so sorry that the main voice actor for English dub of Ouran Host Club is Tamaki's voice actor, Vic.
Yeah.
They make a lot of jokes about him being a pervy guy. And Paul
That has not aged well.
Paul has like been like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to. That was one of the things I talked about when I first watched this, and was just like, oh boy, that did not age well.
No.
You know, just like
Not at all.
It's sad,
Yeah.
but it's it's the fact of the matter,
Yeah.
and but he did have that personality too.
I don't
Very
think anybody's going to
charismatic.
deny that performance or the Edward Elric performance.
No,
I mean, you can't.
no.
Okay.
I also noticed like there were random actors that had like the side characters that I would hear their voice and be like, oh my god, that's so and so, and then I saw the character that they play in this anime that I'm like, oh, I see the similarities.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's like they built some of the story and the character designs around what this person is already good at.
Yeah.
Like Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, his voice actor for the English dub is one of the guys in the Mafia for Casanova.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Okay.
And it's like he's the one with the calm demeanor.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like, and they even gave him a ponytail too.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, that's him.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very good casting choices.
Uh-huh.
They did a really good job of it. And it's, I don't know, it demonstrates why we're even interested in talking about it today.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a testament for a lot of people. Like, just so many people love this anime / manga, and I don't know, I feel like it's hard pressed to get something like Ouran High School Host Club.
Yeah. And
For sure.
it is a lighthearted watch, so if you want something that you can just kind of drool and giggle, this is one.
It's great background.
Absolutely.
But it can also be so much more.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Any?
Nope. That was my last thing. I was curious what you guys thought about Lobelia Academy.
Lobelia. So without further ado, and I know you were. Hopefully, you've had plenty of time.
I know what, 2 hours and 30 minutes? You've
had a good amount of time.
I did.
So Rob, what's our next episode?
Hi,
What anime are we book clubbing?
What anime are we book clubbing? We're gonna book club Trigun Stampede.
Bro, tight.
Oh, I
Okay.
actually have to watch the Trigun now.
Yeah.
Trigun Stampede.
I started it, didn't finish.
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah, we watched it. I
Yeah, we
didn't
watched the
finish.
first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. I also haven't finished it. I didn't finish it.
Did you not like it?
Oh, I liked it.
Oh, you like?
I liked it.
It's just kind of like.
I liked it. It was it's one that I felt like I had to be really
Yeah.
pay attention.
You're in it.
Yeah. So I'm glad I got a little bit of a breather.
Okay.
Very cool.
School finishes next week, so I'll have a little more emotional capacity.
That was last year, right?
That was last year.
This is fresh.
It's
Nice and fresh.
remake to Trigun.
Yep. This will be a fun conversation
This
because
will be.
I did not finish the original.
Yeah.
And so I'm very curious. You did not watch the original either, right?
I've never watched a Trigun,
Alright,
period.
okay.
But
So
Paul's a fan,
Yeah.
so...
So
Okay.
we'll get a little. I'm curious as to our experiences once we
Sure.
enter that
I
episode.
think it's gonna be fun.
All right. So without further ado, where can people find you, Jenny?
Working. So I actually started my own business. I started my own business. So for you guys who are local to Jacksonville, I do run an IT company now, and I actually have a team of 1,000 techs.
Whoa.
Yep. So if you guys need any IT services, let me know. You can actually follow my Twitter. It's CMITSW Jax, JAX. And then from there you can find us from whole different places. Also, I have my cybersecurity podcast, which is Hack Fit Highlights, which you can find on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Hack Fit Highlights. Yeah.
Sweet. What about you, Rob?
Nowhere.
Anything down the docket?
Can't find me nowhere.
All right, he's off the grid.
No. You can find me on Twitter. On Twitter at Zenosuke, ZNOSUKE, Horse Girls, all that nonsense. We have finalized Gamescast stuff. Everybody is on board with the new ideas.
Wahoo!
Wahoo! So we are looking at a May timeline, just figuring out the schedules for everybody's. It is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of work for this guy, but it's okay.
Wahoo!
Follow us at Jack Savage Base on Twitter as well for more info on when that stuff goes live or for when anime stuff goes live and all of that good stuff.
Yep. All right. Very cool. Very excited for that. As for me, you can find me here. You can find me on Jack Savage Base YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter. I actually changed my Twitter handle to Pinoy_Grigio without the one now. And part of that is because I was able to I remember when I tried to do it on Twitch, get Pinoy Grigio, it was taken. So, I don't know why I didn't try this before. Pinoy Grigio TTV is available on Twitch, so I am now claiming that name because the other person who's wasting their time with my handle isn't as cool as me. So, I'm the Pinoy Grigio. So yeah, you can find me on Pinoy Grigio, Pinoy_Grigio, TTV on Twitch. Same thing with Twitter, and I'm trying to ramp up the Patreon stuff, Patreon content, and I will be bringing back Charity Clash soon, which for those of you who have followed me on Twitch before was a charity event where people competed against each other in like a video game and make money, have fun, watch people who aren't really pros at games play games but have a good time and hopefully tell some really funny jokes, and then donate even more money to the winner's charity. And the game is Dead by Daylight, so I have to get to organizing that. I think that will be really fun. I think that game is really fun. I think it has a really strong community, very passionate community, and I just got to figure out the logistics of that. But know that is down the line. It's never too soon to talk about that stuff.
For sure.
Dragon Stampede, huh?
Good old Vash.
All right, let's make like a stampede and mosey on out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.